Welcome back again, everyone. This is part 2 of the revolvers. Looks like we're going to have about 4 parts on the revolvers. The first part was the black powder revolvers in the collection. The second part's going to be the Ruger revolvers. I only have 4, so this shouldn't be too long a video, but we'll look them over anyway. The first one we're going to take a look at is one that's been in a previous video. Not extensively, but a couple of these have been, and this is one of them. One of them has not been in videos, but I'll bring forward the Ruger Bearcat. These are great little 22s, styled after kind of a Remington style with the rounded inset and the grips. Colts have a square inset, more like the single 6 there. But the Bearcat, it has some real fun engraving on it, on the cylinder. You can see Bearcats. This is a gun from, I believe the 90s. My father purchased this before he passed away, and I believe it was because, a little nostalgia, his mascot for his school, where he went to school, was a Bearcat. I'm sure that's probably why he purchased it. Never fired it. I have never fired it. So it's basically a brand new firearm. Of course, they're still made today, readily available. This one does not unlock the cylinder. You have to put it on half cock before the cylinder will spin. Unlike the new model single 6, I'll show you in a moment. See, it still spins even with the loading gate closed. Can't tell you about accuracy. There's the big billboard Ruger loves to put on their firearms, unfortunately. Let me point out too, before we get too far into this, these guns have all been safety checked. I always do that before I handle them, to make certain that we're not going to be having a loaded firearm that I'm handling or getting in front of the muzzle on, or cocking here, or pulling the trigger on. So now we'll move on. This is the next Ruger I have. This is the one I just mentioned, the Ruger single 6. A little larger than the Bearcat. In fact, it's not too much smaller than a full-sized single action army, a full-size Colt. It is a little smaller, just a hair smaller. And this one has a different operating mechanism. Open the loading gate, freeze up the cylinder. In other words, you never have to put it on half cock in order to load it or empty it. This is a long barrel, 6-inch barrel. It also comes with the 22 Magnum cylinder. And I actually prefer shooting 22 mags out of this gun because it is much more accurate with it. Nice adjustable sights, unlike the Bearcat, which just has the trough rear sight. In stainless, aftermarket grips, again from Altamont, one of my favorite grip companies. I'm not sponsored by them. I'm not sponsored by anyone, just in case you're wondering, but I do mention them a lot because they use modern techniques to create a real nice grip that's fairly inexpensive. Alright, next we'll go on. This one has never been in a video. Haven't ever gotten around to making a video on my Ruger Gp100 357 Magnum. The billboard is much better. Still says read instructions on it. It's a typical Gp100, modern, again Altamont grips on it. And here we go. Ruger Gp100 357 Magnum. push button swing out cylinder. This one, I love the blued color. Could have had a stainless option on this. Elected to go with the blue. You just don't see the blued ones too often. Now, Ruger doesn't do a super fine job on their bluing. There are quite a few marks in the metal. A lot of that is oil. I keep them pretty heavily oiled if I'm not going to be shooting them for a while. Also did not come with that red ramp front sight. That was something I had to put on. Relatively easy change out. There's a hole on the muzzle end that you depress a spring plunger and lifts right out, changes out to whatever sight you want. I prefer the red ramp sights if I can get them. So there it is, Ruger Gp100 357 Magnum blued. Ruger makes a fine, tough firearm. Now usually I like lightened triggers, as you know. If you've watched my videos, you know I usually go through it, respring them. In fact, the other two Rugers there have lighter springs in them to facilitate a lighter trigger pull. This one I had to do absolutely nothing to. I don't know if Ruger has done some changes to their trigger springs, but this one's trigger pull is just fantastic. Still has the typical small amount of Ruger creep in it just before it breaks. But other than that, I could not make that trigger any better without doing some gunsmithing on the sear. But I'm just going to leave it the way it is because it is absolutely fantastic. Alright, let's move on to the last Ruger. And this one you've seen in a couple of videos before, of course. This is the Ruger 44 Magnum Alaskan. You can see we're moving up in cylinder size quite a bit. Now we're approaching that Dragoon cylinder size. This is a 6-shot 44 Magnum, so fairly sizable firearm. Ruger makes a firearm that you cannot wear out. This is a very heavy firearm. Again, I had to drop trigger springs one size in poundage in order to get that trigger pull that I like. But again, this is not my biggest cylinder. I've got one bigger one yet coming, and you probably can figure out what that is if there's one bigger than a 44 Magnum. This sight is just a standard black sight, adjustable rear sights. This is actually has a white outline though, which I really like. This one is my truck gun. Goes it's for going fishing, going camping up in the mountains. I have a specially designed Kydex holster to mount in the truck. So that's it. That's the Ruger revolvers in the collection. We'll keep this one short and sweet. If you desire to see any of them up closer and do some shooting with them, we'll make sure we get a video out for you if I get enough requests for them. And even takedown videos, cleaning. There's plenty of them out there though. They're very fine videos. So, but if you have a desire to see it on my channel, I'll be happy to do that. That's why I'm here, to help educate and show variety of what is available for you out there. So thanks for coming along. We'll see you next time with part 3.